I'm a United States citizen, and I'm a healthcare practitioner, and I reside in South Kona, Captain Cook. As a United States citizen, I am a protected person as defined by international criminal law and the Paddock Judgment of 1999 by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia Appeals Chamber, which stated that civilians who are nationals of the occupied state are also protected persons because their allegiance while residing in the occupied state is, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 6 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal, and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I am also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to the members of the State of Hawaii Judiciary, which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governments and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaii Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts the United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
My name is Robert Freitas Jr., and I am testifying on behalf of Bill 160. I am a Hawaiian subject. I am retired, and I currently reside in Kalaupapa, Puna. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I'm also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the State of Hawaii Judiciary, which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governance and legal matters within occupied territory over Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the applications of the laws of the occupied state. In this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier of the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Convention. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not the United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me, a protected person. This body illegally enacts that civilians who are nationals of the occupying state are also protected persons because their allegiance while residing in the occupied state is, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 6 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. In 2015, Hawaii County Council was made aware of the Hawaiian Kingdom via Testimonial Resolution 185-15 And on June 2nd, 2015, you voted unanimously recognizing Laho'ili'a Sovereignty Restoration Day as a holiday. Why didn't the council members ask Corporation Counsel for legal opinion at that time? In 2016, several of us that included Dr. Kianusai, Mr. Khalid Bumapa, and myself met with council members Karen Eoff and Mylene Maderas David, where Dr. Sai provided both council members with the same information that was provided to council member Willows. Why didn't you, Karen Eoff, or you, Mylene Maderas David, ask Corporation Counsel for a legal opinion at the time either? It is also important to note that council member Ruggles did not ask Corporation Counsel Kamehameha for his personal assumption and or opinion. She asked for a legal opinion based on applicable laws. Over the years, in many of our testimonies before the county council, many of us have been providing a lot of this information to you over and over again. So for any of you who say that you are unaware that Hawaii is illegally occupied or that war crimes are being committed is a blatant lie and you know it. Do you realize that once you are made aware of the truth and you ignore it, that makes you an accessory to the lies, which in this situation make all of your accessories to the war crimes that have been and are continued to be committed. Do you realize that you are about to commit another war crime, but continue to enact United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you for your testimony. Now we will go to Kohala with your one testifier.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to introduce Gail Perez. She will be representing Kohala Kufuna Council, and she's going to discuss everything on the council agenda except for 160-D2. So she would like 3 minutes for her statement and then 3 minutes to address 160-D2, and I've asked her to let us know when she transitions.
Okay, so she's saying that she just 3 minutes at first, and then we'll restart the timer and then give her another 3 minutes.
Yes, Chair, with your approval.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, please restate your name for the record.
My name is Gail Perez. I am a Kufuna in the Kufuna Council of Kohala. This testimony, it pertains to everything on the agenda, but I want to transition to 160 for the ethical. This testimony is in support of Councilwoman Jen Ruggles on war crimes committed in Hawaii and the UN Human Rights Letter on the U.S. occupation in Hawaii. I am a retired early educator, home visitor, and I currently reside in Kohala, Hawaii. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I'm also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to the members of the state of Hawaii.
Just one second. I just need some clarification. So your testimony, even on the next agenda item, will be basically the same thing, right? Correct?
Yes.
You're just continuing. Okay. If I knew that early on, I would just give you the 3 minutes. But since I already gave you the 6, I will allow that. But thereafter, it's going to be based on a specific item on the agenda as our rules state. So thank you very much. Continue.
I understand. Hawaii Judiciary, which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes and violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention, an international humanitarian law which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body legally enacts that civilians who are nationals of the occupied state are also protected persons, because their allegiance while residing in the occupied state is, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 6 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Please transition.
So I transition to 160. Thank you.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Okay, so we go to Waimea, your first two testifiers.
Okay, just go ahead and state your name and then start.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Ronald McIntosh. This testimony is for Bill 160 Code of Ethics. My name is Ronald McIntosh. I'm a United States citizen. I'm a software engineer and I currently reside in Waimea. As United States citizens, I am a protected person as defined by international criminal law in the Tadic Judgment of 1909 by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia Appeals Chamber, which stated that civilians who are nationals of the occupying state are also protected persons because their allegiance while residing in the occupied state, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 4 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state, and has been under illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I'm also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to the members of the State of Hawaii Judicial, which stated, international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governance in legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, which is the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts the United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. Mahalo.
Aloha. This testimony is for 160 Code of Ethics. State your name. My name is Lili'uo Kalani Ross. I am a Hawaiian subject. I am a farmer and the curator of the Ohana o Hawaii. I currently reside in Waimea, Kohala. As a Hawaiian subject, I am protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I have, with the knowledge that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I am also aware that the United States independent expert Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the State of Hawaii Judiciary, which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to the Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Convention. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Okay, we will now come to Hilo, our first two testifiers. You can say the name of it.
You just go read the whole thing.
You guys can step away and then she'll say when the next two people will be ready as they come up.
My name is Keawekane-Stafford.
Thank you,
I've asked everybody in the room here, if you want to speak, I ask if you could go outside and speak and not interrupt our testifiers, please. Thank you.
Do you want this? Yes, please.
This testimony supports Councilwoman General
I love you, sweet.
and the question asked of Corporation Counsel Joseph Cabell for a valid legal opinion. I am a Hawaiian Kingdom subject. I am a Hawaiian businessman, currently living in Hawaiian Paradise Farm. And as a Hawaiian Kingdom subject, I am protected person under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. A few years ago, I came to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state. Yes, and that was a surprise to me. It has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893, the overthrow. I'm also aware that the United Nations, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to all the judges throughout Hawaii, the judicial system, and also to the government, informing them that international laws, the Hague and Geneva Convention, require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, which is the United States. According to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws of or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions, of which the United States signed on to accept the Geneva and the Hague Conventions, which makes it laws here. The Supremacy Clause requires that those laws are the laws of the land.
Yeah, we know they're making faces.
Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the U.S. to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law,
They would probably
not
be
U.S. law.
showing the same
And this
thing.
includes
Yeah.
county council. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. Council members Karen Eoff, Miley David, and Danny Paleka were made aware of this information over 2 years ago by the acting Hawaiian Kingdom Regency and myself, but did not ask the question of Corporation Council. The question is, why not?
Yeah, thank you for your testimony. That was the 3 minutes.
What?
Thank you. The bell went off on the summarize.
Oh, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your testimony, though. I just need to be fair across the board. Thank you, sir. State your name for the record and then proceed.
Hello. My name is Keawekane-Stafford, and I'm a Hawaiian subject. I am a kahuna kuikui po'one and currently reside in Puna in U.S.-occupied Hawaii. As a Hawaiian subject, I'm a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. The United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, notified the state of Hawaii judiciary to not plunder, enable, or collude, which is prohibited under Article 28 of the 1907 Hague Convention. Dr. Desist continues to state that I have come to understand that the lawful political status of the Hawaiian Islands is that of a sovereign nation state in continuity, but a nation state that is under a strange form of occupation by the United States, resulting from an illegal military occupation and fraudulent annexation. As such, international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, requires that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state. In this case, Hawaiian Kingdom law, not domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you for your testimony. Before we move on to Pahoa, I just want to call up Leilani Lindsay Kaapuni and Theodora Akau Gaspar to the testifiers table to get ready. To Pahoa, your 2 testifiers, please.
Mahalo, Chair Poindexter. First, I have Candace Johnson.
Aloha. This testimony is for Resolution 654-18. My name is Candace Hololeo Johnson, and I am a United States citizen. I am an equine body worker and a farmer, and I currently reside in Orchid Land Estates, Waikahikahi Akuaha, and Puna, Hawaii Island. As a United States citizen, I am a protected person as defined by international criminal law in the Tadic Judgment of 1999 by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia Appeals Chamber, which stated that civilians who are nationals of the occupying state are also protected persons because their allegiance while residing in the occupied state is, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 6 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I am also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the State of Hawaii Judiciary which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. Mahalo for your time.
Aloha. My name is Jason Lee Riesland, and this is testimony for Bill number 160. I reside in Orchid Land Estates. I'm a nurse that was invited to come here due to the nursing shortage. I'm also a permaculturist, and I'm also a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Okay, we move on to, okay, Ka'u has nothing. We go back to Kona with your last two testifiers, please.
Okay, our last two testifiers, we have Andrew Bright to comment on Bill 160, to be followed by Nephi Homekai Brown, also to comment on Bill 160. State your name for the record.
Aloha kakayaka. My name is Andrew Keawekane Bright. I'm a Hawaiian subject. I'm retired and now reside in Waikoloa. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. You know, it seems like this is not the first time we've been through this topic. But we're going to come back again and again to remind you guys, this is all wrong what you guys are doing. But as long as we can do this civilly, that's what we're going to do. This body illegally continues to illegally enact United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. And as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. Paul.
Aloha, my name is Nephi Homekai Brown. The testimony is in support for Bill 160, Code of Ethics. I'm a Hawaiian subject, and I am an entrepreneur, and I currently reside in South Kohala. I'm a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I am also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the state of Hawaii judiciary, which stated, quote, international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions require that governance in legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case, the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States, unquote,
And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand too that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you. And I just got word that Kona has just one more testifier. Is that so, Scott?
Yes, that is true, Chair. Thank you. Our next testifier, our last testifier, is Sharon Williford in support of Bill 160.
Aloha, I'm Sharon Williford, retired teacher here in Kona. I support everything that those that have gone before me say, and I stand behind Jennifer Ruggles as a brave Lohaʻina warrior, standing for the truth. That is what we're seeking, just the truth. What I would like to bring up, my understanding is that a pesticide bill was being proposed and is now not active, but I would like to challenge any of you and all of you to step up to the plate on this, whether it be Hawaiian Kingdom. I'm sure the law would go much easier if it was. That with the court case, the Monsanto case, which I'm sure you've all heard about, $285 or more million awarded to the plaintiff because of poisoning by glyphosate, which is the same as Roundup, which right now is being sprayed all over our county and state roads, parks, where dogs and children walk. And it's enough. We can't wait a couple years. We can't wait another day. Many counties, cities, and countries have banned this poisonous pesticide and others. Thank you so much for your consideration for the children. Aloha.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to Waimea. You have 3 testifiers, yes?
Madam Chair, we have 2 left. 3.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we do have 3 left.
Yeah, I go. I like this one.
3 total.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we have Keawekane-Stafford and Lakea Trask speaking on Bill 160. You have 3 minutes. Please restate your name.
Aloha, my name is Keawekane-Stafford. This testimony is for Bill 160, Code of Ethics. I am a Hawaiian subject. I am a videographer, and I currently reside in Pu'ukapu, Waimea. As a Hawaiian subject, I'm a protected person and as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I too have come to learn that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I'm also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the state of Hawaii Judiciary which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions, require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state, in this case the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws or customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States law in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stems from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Can I go?
Restate your name.
Okay, your next testifier.
Aloha mai kākou, o nā halela au nā li ka poole ko winoa. He Hawaii au, no ko Hawaii pai aina. O keia ku'u aina, ka home, ke kula iwi, ka maoli, ke ea nohoi. O iai noho hewa ko Amelika ma luna hoi o ko mākou pai aina. Eia no mākou, e hoi ike a o kou i ka oia i'o o ko kākou ea, ka oia i'o o keia aina, o keia pai aina no hoi. Oia no ka noho hewa ana o Amelika, a ka ho'o mau, a ka mau ana o ko Amelika war crimes, maluna o ko kākou mau po'e kanaka, maluna o keia pai aina. No laila, eia no mākou, e noi haa, e kauoha hoi a o kou, e hana i ka mea kūpono, e ho oia i'o, e kāko'o i ka o kou mau hoa o Jen Ruggles hoi, no kana kauoha no ka oia i'o, e kū me na po'e Hawaii o keia pai aina. I hiki a kākou ke ho'o mau i ke ea o ka aina i ka pono. Me ke la mau manao, mahalo nui a o kou no ka ho'olohe ana mai. Aloha.
One minute, if you take your last testifier, it'll be okay. They would let her get seated there, please.
You say hold the sign. You hold the sign.
Okay, your last testifier.
Okay, our last testifier is Tammy Harp, speaking on Bill 160. Please restate your name.
My name is Tammy Harp, and I am a Hawaiian subject. I am a future ancestor, and I currently reside in Waimea, Mokuoke Ave. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. And I personally feel that we gotta get rid of all this shibai, and we gotta start looking at the real truth. Mahalo.
Okay, I just need again to remind the people here, we need to be mindful of the respect of everybody and no speaking, clapping, all that kind of disruption. And that's part of our rules. I just ask that we have that respect for each other, regardless of people's views, whether we agree or disagree. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miss Lindsay, will you do a statement for the record and then proceed?
Oh, Auntie Leilani, go talk Hawaiian a little bit. Okay, Auntie Leilani.
There you go. Thank you.
My name is Leilani Lindsay Coughlin. Testifying regarding Bill 160.
Mahalo.
And the Hawaiian I am a keeper of my family mo'oku'ohau and a researcher of genealogies. I'm employed as a fiscal specialist at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. The Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. This body, called the Hawaii County Council, illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. And as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Okay, well, just before you testify, I'd like to call Ku'ulani Muse up to the testifier's table to get ready. And Ms. Keawekane-Stafford, if you could state your name for the record and then proceed.
Aloha, my name is Theodora Keawekane-Stafford, and I'm going to speak on Bill 160, Code of Ethics. My name is Theodora Keawekane-Stafford, and I'm a Hawaiian subject. I'm a retired school teacher, and I currently reside in Ahuloa in the Hamakua district on Moko Keawe. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person, as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Geneva Convention. A few years ago, I met with Mayor-elect Harry Kim, and he was presented the same information with no avail, no questions. He called upon me. I never called upon him. And the reason for him calling me was because of my support of the Mauna Kea movement. So again, he called upon me to talk. So that was my opportunity to give him this true fact information with no reply or no response after that. So this body that I'm looking at enacting United States law in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation that I'm looking at, I demand you learn the truth based on facts, and you cease and desist on your decision making until you truly learn these facts. These are facts based on truth. If not, you each will be held liable, accountable for your decision making. Here, each of you. War crimes is something not to mess with. Honestly, I too have to look at myself as a Hawaiian subject, living in the Hawaiian Kingdom. This is the Hawaiian Kingdom in continuity. Honestly, as a human being, having human rights, seriously, think about it. You all have your own na'au. You have a Hawaiian last name, Kanuha. Every one of you have koko in you because you reside in the Hawaiian Kingdom. Think about it. 125 years since the illegal overthrow.
U.S. invasion.
Thank you for this.
U.S. invasion.
I'd like to call up Robert, is it Yamada, to the testifier's table to get ready. And Ms. Muse, if you could state your name for the record.
They got softer.
Aloha, my name is Ku'ulani Muse. My testimony is in reference to Bill 160 to amend Chapter 2 of the County Code of Ethics. I am a Hawaiian subject. I reside and work in Kahua, Hilo, Hawaii. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I am here to affirm that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state, and to assert that this body continues to illegally enact United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. As a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. Mahalo. Thank you.
Okay, we'd like to call up Dwight Vicente to the testifiers table to get ready. Mr. Yamada, please state your name for the record and then proceed.
This testimony is for Bill 160. My name is Robert M. Yamada II. I am a Hawaiian subject and a retired contractor. I reside at 1598 Hawaii Road in Panaeva. As such, I am a Hawaiian Homes lessee. So I have more than 50% Hawaiian. I am a protected person as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. I too have come to learn, as so many others have said before me, that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state that has been under an illegal and prolonged occupation by the United States since January 17, 1893. I am also aware that the United Nations independent expert, Dr. Alfred Desist, sent a memorandum to members of the state Hawaii judiciary which stated international laws, the Hague and Geneva Conventions require that governance and legal matters within the occupied territory of the Hawaiian Islands must be administered by the application of the laws of the occupied state. In this case, it's the Hawaiian Kingdom, not the domestic laws of the occupier, the United States. And according to Amnesty International, war crimes are crimes that violate the laws and customs of war defined by the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Article 43 of the Hague Regulations and Article 64 of the Fourth Geneva Convention obligates the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law, not United States law. This deliberate failure by the United States to administer Hawaiian Kingdom law has led to grave breaches under Article 147 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, which constitutes war crimes committed against me as a protected person. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call up Moses Kealamakia to the testifiers table. Mr. Vicente, if you would state your name for the record and proceed.
Good morning. My name is Dwight Vicente. I'm representing the Hawaiian Kingdom. I'm going to add Resolution 664-18 with the other two. 664-18. King Kalakaua had an American cabinet. He questioned why they went to Europe to bring in Europeans back in that time period. He was lied to. They had a scheme to infiltrate this kingdom and bring Europeans to help assist them in the takeover. And this is back with the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875. So the arrivals of the Europeans assisted the United States in overtaking this kingdom. And you can trace that back to 1820 with President Monroe appointing an agent for the United States, Jones, to direct the missionary families and the U.S. Navy here. And this is going back to 1820 now. Okay, transitioning to 66-18. I'm going to have to tell you, you guys had misstate this in, it says section 134-9, but actually if you read it correctly, it's HRS Title 10, Chapter 134. Title 10, for those that don't understand, is Congress power under Article 1, Section 8 over the Army, the Navy, and the state militia. Hawaiian Kingdom had no gun control. Gun control was imposed after the illegal takeover by the Provisional/Republic of Hawaii. After that, they had arms to be licensed. Now it's under Title 10. Title 10 is limited to the 13 states, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution. And that only pertains to the U.S. military. So this appeal went to the Ninth Circus, the fake state of California, and it's dealing with the Second Amendment, which does not apply here in the Hawaiian Kingdom either. Just as Title 10 doesn't apply, the Second Amendment doesn't apply, the First Amendment doesn't apply. The U.S. Constitution applies only to Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3. Through the 14th Amendment, it was applied to Article 5 of the Northwest Ordinance only. The strange thing about the Hawaiian Kingdom is we're placed under the Northwest Ordinance through the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875. So that's why it's a strange setup. How can you apply the Northwest Ordinance when it's limited to Article 5? But it was applied here and there was no question. But it's a constitutional question that's yet to go up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Transitioning to...
Excuse me, you had 2 items on here.
Yeah, but I had to add on that other one.
But according to our rule, you got to sign up for the. So if you want to go and sign up for another one, we had you doing.
The veterans one now.
Yeah, but you're not signed up for that.
I wasn't signed up for the other one, the one that
you
the
have
Portuguese.
666-18 and one. You had 2 items signing up for. So.
Yeah, wasn't the one with the Portuguese.
So
the Portuguese one I added on.
I'm going to allow this one time, but I'm not allowing this. I'm only, just because you're here, I'm not going to make a really big issue of it, but know our rules about what you got to sign up for and what we're expecting and when you're transitioning. I respect that. So go ahead, your next 3 minutes.
You know my saying about rules, rules are your rules, not mine.
Okay. Excuse me. One thing I got to ask is that if you're in this room, you abide by our rules. And you need to go read the rules because if it is disruptive, we can ask you to leave. So I just want, out of respect for each other, we can agree to disagree. We just need to respect each other's views. So thank you. Continue.
Okay, with the veterans, many individuals served in the U.S. Army as non-U.S. citizens, which is illegal because you're required to take an oath to the U.S. Constitution. The only individuals that can take an oath to the U.S. Constitution are U.S. citizens that were naturalized to Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution, which is only 13 states. So you cannot serve. And another thing, too, I must say that most countries are occupied, whether it be this kingdom, Puerto Rico, Guam, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Germany. They're all occupied nations, and they all fall under the UN as occupied nations. United States has no colonial powers. They cannot occupy another country. The Constitution requires the United States to remain 13 states unless it's amended. And the Northwest Ordinance is Article 5 of the ordinance, and it's limited. That's why when you read Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, it talks about only one territory, and it was applied in Sy versus Clinton back in 2011. Well, there's no political question over the Article 5. This is the Hawaiian Kingdom. So most of the wars the United States has been involved, if not all of the wars, is based on colonial activity, which is a violation of the U.S. Constitution. They're only required to repel invasion under the preamble. And that's why Article 1, Section 8, the military, deals only with Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, which is the 13 states. So with that, I'll end with the Queen's protest of January 17, 1893 against U.S. Minister Stevens has yet to make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2, original but limited jurisdiction only over U.S. Minister Stevens. the court has no jurisdiction over, the federal courts have no jurisdiction here in this kingdom. And the other one is the constitutional question of the Northwest Ordinance being applied here to this kingdom through the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call up Elizon Atkins to the testifiers table. And Mr. Keawekane, if you could state your name for the record and then proceed.
My name is Moses Keawekane. I'm a U.S. citizen. I live here in Hilo, up in Waikiauka. Currently an artist/art teacher with the DOE. And I'm here to make comments on Bill 160. This body that I'm looking at enacts the United States laws, which is a violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Therefore, we're all victims of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation. I kindly, respectfully, humbly demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you. Okay, so next we call up Kari Harden to the testifiers table. And Ms. Atkins, if you could state your name for the record and then proceed.
Aloha. My name is Alison Atkins, and I'm doing testimony for Bill 160. I am an American citizen, and I am a teacher at Hawaii Community College, and I currently reside in Mountain View, Hawaii. As an American citizen who is not an employee of the United States government, I am a protected citizen under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. As a United States citizen, I am a protected person as defined by the International Criminal Law in the Tadic Judgment of 1999 by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia Appeals Chamber, which stated that civilians who are nationals of the occupying state are also protected persons because of their allegiance while residing in the occupied state is in this case owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 6 of the Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. This body illegally enacts the United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call up George Pace to the testifiers table. Ms. Harden, if you could state your name for the record and proceed.
Good morning. I'm not speaking about Bill 160, though I support much of the testimony that's been given. I'm speaking in support of Resolution 666, just speaking for myself. This is regarding the open carry of guns. We do not need to loosen up gun laws. The United States has less than 5% of the world's population, but it has almost half of the world's guns that are owned by civilians. And a fact sheet for 2003 to 2013 from Sandy Hook Promise shows that almost 100 people died every day from gun violence in the United States, and over 200 a day were injured. The gun homicide rate in the United States is 25 times higher compared to other high-income countries. And if you break it down by state, I have a picture. The states that have more guns have more gun deaths, and Hawaii is fairly low on gun ownership and gun deaths, and I think we should keep it that way. When new laws get passed about owning and buying guns, gun violence tends to go down. This is based on a review of over 100 studies from 10 countries.
How about the occupation?
Also, if you have a gun at home, it is 4 times more likely to cause an accidental shooting and 7 times more likely to be used in assault or homicide, and 11 times more likely to be used in a suicide compared to being used for self-defense. This is from Scientific American. and guns are used for self-defense in less than 1% of all crimes that occur when the victim is there. And self-defense gun use is about as effective as other defensive maneuvers, such as just calling for help. That's from a review of 5 years of data. What scares me most is the suicides. Guns work really well, so if you use a gun for suicide, unfortunately, you'll probably succeed. Nearly 2/3 of gun deaths are suicides. The United States gun suicide rate is 8 times that compared to other high-income countries. And if you have access to a gun and you try to commit suicide, the risk of death increases by 3 times. There was a study from Israeli researchers, and suicides among Israeli soldiers dropped by 40% when the military stopped letting soldiers take their guns home over the weekend. And the change was most pronounced during the weekends. So Scientific American, in their article, concludes, people, all of us, lead complicated lives, misinterpret situations, get angry, and make mistakes. And when a mistake involves pulling a trigger, the damage can't be undone. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to the testifiers table, Noinoi Keawekane. If she could come to the testifiers table. Mr. Pace, if you could state your name for the record and then proceed.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is George Pace. I live in Mountain View. I comment regarding the appropriately numbered Resolution 666. Please do not facilitate in any way the attempt by the Office of the Corporation Counsel, the Mayor, and the Police Chief to escape their consequences of many years of illegal and unethical policies by approving any agreement of any kind that would provide any legal aid to defend these county agents from what they have brought upon themselves, by having historically adopted a policy of openly, blatantly, unabashedly, and sometimes smugly violating the natural, fundamental, individual, unalienable, enumerated, constitutionally protected civil rights of Hawaii County residents who have sought to legally exercise their right to bear arms for self-defense outside their home. Let me provide a general context. The probability of being in a car accident and being a crime victim are approximately the same in Hawaii. In the first case, the state requires under criminal penalty that a person must have insurance. And in the second, under criminal penalty, requires that a person may not have insurance in the form of most common self-defense weapons outside the home. Equal probability of harm, virtually opposite treatment by the law. All the people in the county chain of command swore or affirmed an oath of office to uphold the constitutions of both the state of Hawaii and the United States, and both read the right to the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. As Justice Thomas wrote, I find it extremely improbable that the framers of the Second Amendment to protect little more than carrying a gun from the bedroom to the kitchen. Yet that is exactly what the county taxpayer-paid attorneys argued in attempting to continue to deny county residents our constitutionally protected rights. They did not argue in court that they did not have the legal expertise to make such policies. Why do they whine about it now? Only when they are being held to account for their years-long secret pronouncements, which they claim are protected by attorney-client privilege, that no one would be allowed to exercise their rights. At any time in the history of this county, the police chief could have issued licenses on the same basis as 43 other states have to over 16 million people. Likewise, the mayor or the Office of the Corporation Counsel could have issued an advisory opinion or something similar, suggesting that the police chief issue licenses to typical law-abiding persons. They all chose not to, based upon their legal expertise. The record shows that not one single law-abiding person has ever been granted such a license. And now they whine that in fact they don't have and apparently never did have the legal expertise to make or defend such legal opinions. It'd be a joke if it wasn't such blatant hypocrisy. They must be held accountable and liable for their acts, and ethically they should be required to provide their own defense, as they were allowed for all these many years to impose their own legal expertise upon the constitutionally protected rights-deprived residents of this county. Please, no state bailout. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call Linda Safari to the testifiers table. Okay. And Ms. Keawekane, if you could state your name for the record and proceed.
My name is Noinoi Keawekane, and I am a Hawaiian subject. I am a student of the University of Hawaii at Hilo and an event coordinator. and I reside in Hilo, Hawaii. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person and as defined under Article 4 of the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention. This testimony is in support of Bill 160, County Code of Ethics, and I am here to affirm that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist as an independent and sovereign state. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation. I demand that this body immediately cease and desist.
Thank you. Okay, if we could call Jean Tamashiro to the testifier's table. And Ms. Stafford, if you could state your name for the record and proceed.
Aloha. My name is Linda Stafford, and welcome to the Hawaiian Kingdom. The land that this building is on is Crown lands. Just want you to recognize where you are. My name is Linda Stafford, and I'm a United States citizen. I am a registrar for the Ku'e petitions and a cultural practitioner. I reside at Wa'awa'a, Puna, Hawaii. As a United States citizen, I am a protected person as defined by international criminal law, and the state is also protected persons because their alliance while residing in occupied state is, in this case, owed to the Hawaiian Kingdom and not the United States. Allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom by resident aliens is stated in Section 3, Chapter 4 of Hawaiian Kingdom Penal Code. This body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions and as a victim of war crimes that stem from this unlawful legislation, I demand that this body immediately cease and desist. But also, maybe a good idea, you folks, if you go to hawaiiankingdom.org for history. It might be enlightening to you folks. You're hearing us say this over and over, but maybe you need to educate yourselves of the true history. And also the hawaiiankingdom.org/blog, which will bring you up to date in what is happening now. Mahalo, you folks.
Thank you. Okay. I'd like to call Susan Roser to the testifier's table. Is there Susan Roser? Susan. Okay. Okay, Mr. Tamashiro, if you could state your name for the record and proceed.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. I'm Gene Tamashiro. I'm also a sovereign Hawaiian national. And some of you I know personally. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank Keokua, Yahweh, the Creator, that brought us all together in spite of the laws that are operating in the state of Hawaii, which has been shown to actually not be lawful in Hawaii. And so I support Jen Ruggles because she's standing in honor. And she's asking the question, illegal opinion, a question that actually most people in this room and most people in Hawaii already know the answer to. So I want to celebrate the fact that our people have done their due diligence and have come with aloha to untangle the color of law matrix that we all find ourselves in. You know, we are so lucky that the Queen and that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist, because the Hawaiian Kingdom, to my knowledge, is the only country on earth that is not a corporation. And indeed, the United States became officially a corporation in 1871 with the creation of the District of Columbia. And if you Google definition of United States under the United States Code, Article 28, Section 3002, line 15, definition of the United States, they tell you the United States equals federal corporation. And what is a corporation? Who are the people you're actually working for? The definition of a corporation is a legal entity So we have a illegal entity occupying Hawaii. And I think the question here is, because you're in a community of people that are filled with the Aloha spirit, that you come forward. There was a great mistake that we were all born into. Our moms didn't know when they were applying for a birth certificate that they were signing over their beloved baby until the federal corporation. And so until we declare upon ourselves and unto the world our true status, who we are, where we are, and what law we live by, we will be presumed to be property of that corporation, and I'm no longer property of that corporation. Hawaii County, Hawaiian Kingdom has a powerful destiny on earth as it is in heaven. And if we stand true, faithfully, with aloha, we can untangle this. And I want to support all of you to reflect on that. Because yes, there are consequences in the law, but beyond that, there is love and forgiveness and healing.
Thank you for your testimony.
God bless you.
I'd like to call up Nathan Kaluag to the testifiers table. And Ms. Rozier, if you could state your name for the record and proceed.
My name is Susan Rozier. I live in Waikahikahi, Puna, Moku o Keawe. I've come to know that I'm a protected person. I'd like to tell you folks that you are too. I don't have to repeat everything that everybody else said. I'm sure that it's kind of getting in your mind. What I'm going to ask you is to take this information home, because this isn't going to stop. It's not a small thing. It's not one little tiny group of people over here. It's huge. I've known about it. I've known about the problems with it since March 1999, when at that time I lived on Maui. It's only gotten bigger. It's not a small group of people. And the reason it's not a small group of people is because these are actual facts. And we have professors, we have people like Ron Williams Jr., who is a professor of history, coming out with facts on a daily basis. In fact, he has Truthful Tuesdays, where he pulls one small little fact out that everybody can see. And now everybody knows. And our children know, and our young people are knowing. And back when I was young, we were just fighting for what we now have, Olelo in schools. When my daughter was 9 years old, she came home crying one day because one of the kids in her class was Olelo Hawaii, and the teacher pulled the kid out, made her apologize to the whole class, and go stand in the corner. Later, when my kids got older and they started having babies, I got together with a bunch of other parents. And in Haiku on Maui, in Grandma's house, the kids learned from Grandma before she died. That sprouted. And look what we have today. What we have today is youth that know who they are. They speak the language. I'd like you all to really find it in your heart. Cease and desist. You have the power.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call up Elizabeth Sandeman. I think is that the last name? Is there Elizabeth here? Okay, come to the testifiers table. And Mr. Kaluag, you can state your name and then proceed.
My name is Nathan Kaluag. I'm speaking about Bill 160. And I am a Hawaiian subject. I am a contractor. I currently reside in Kuilili, Okalani, in Kona. As a Hawaiian subject, I am a protected person defined under the Article 4 of 1949 for Geneva Convention. this body illegally enacts United States laws in violation of the Hague and Geneva Convention and is a victim of war crimes that stem from the unlawful legislation. I demand this body immediately cease and desist.
Okay, I'd like to call Marlene Hapai to the testifiers table. And go ahead, state your name for the record and proceed.
I'm Elizabeth Jean Sand, Amen, and I am testifying on the Bill 160. I am an American citizen. I was born in America, in California, and both my parents are both American citizens. You've heard everyone's statements, and I really don't want to repeat it, but I want to ask you is that we are at a threshold where there was a point in time where there was an argument between was it a flat earth or was there a round earth? And we look back and we sort of laugh at some people. We are at that point, and what we're asking is please be thorough on the data. Don't rely on what was told, what was passing. We're asking that you be thorough because it's been presented to you, the evidence, and we are asking for you to take your own time and really look into it. As an American citizen, I am a protected person, and we are having harm and damages because rights are being taken away. Rights of the Hawaiian subjects, rights of American citizens to follow and have allegiance to the Hawaiian Kingdom. So today I ask for all activities to cease and desist, specifically this body, all governments opposing as American government, the council, the city, the county, the state. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jerry Warren, if you could come to the testifiers table. Mr. Warren, if you want to testify. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Marlene, if you could state your name for the record and then proceed. Mr. Warren, you can have a seat here. Okay, I'll call on you when you're ready. Ms. Hapai, if you could continue.
Bom dia, Marlene Hapai, President, Interim Director of the Hawaii Island Portuguese Chamber of Commerce Cultural and Educational Center, and this is in support of Resolution 664-18. If anyone asked me about my Portuguese heritage 10 years ago, I would have had little to say, as I had spent most of my life becoming what I would be and had not taken the time to see where I had come from. It took the deaths of my mother and her two sisters, all within a period of 10 months, and the sudden passing of the Andrade building, built in 1924 by their parents, to us, the next generation of Andrades, to realize the gift of living history that had been given to us that we knew so little about. It was a 10-year-old girl in the building next to ours who motivated me to begin my search for my Portuguese roots and history of my family when she asked me to tell her about the Andrade building so she could give a report to her class. Although I grew up in the building helping my grandmother and mother from ages 6 to 18, I only knew the business, how it operated, and what my grandmother did to have her business survive for 40 years. I did not know the history of those who had provided this exciting environment in which to grow up. This September 30th, we celebrate the 140th anniversary of the first Portuguese immigrant families to arrive in Hawaii. Traveling 15,000 miles from the Azores, Madeira, and mainland Portugal, this was a one-way trip, a trip that had us naming our Portuguese Cultural and Educational Center Saudade, or the Longing. Portuguese immigrants longed for a better life as they came to Hawaii, yet longed for their families, friends, and homeland left behind. Within this 140-year period of time, Hawaii's Portuguese have lost touch with their history and much of their culture, and thus our goal of building a cultural and educational center to document and preserve the valuable contributions of the Portuguese to Hawaii's history before they are forever lost. To this end, between September 20th and 30th, we will celebrate island-wide with traveling presentations, to Kau, Kona, Honoka, and Hilo, sharing Portuguese stories of old, exhibits, food, and music, and culminate in Hilo with the first showing of the documentary Portuguese in Hawaii, our Founders Ball to continue raising funds for our center on September 30th, and on September 30th, the exact 140th anniversary date, bless our center grounds. At this time, we would like to thank our Hawaii County Council for your support of these 140th anniversary events and ask for your continued support as we document and share the history of one of Hawaii's many people that have made Hawaii the working model of multi-ethnic diversity it is known for worldwide today. Muito obrigada, mahalo, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Okay. Yeah. Are we okay? Okay. So let me call, and I don't know if this is right because I'm having a hard time reading the writing, but Aten? Is there Aten? Aten? Is that Aten? Is that the name? Is that? Okay. Yeah, because it was, yeah, it's not in print, so I have a hard time making out and that's okay. If you could have a seat, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't, even the writing is in script, so I couldn't make it out. Thank you. No problem. No problem. If you could say your name for the record and proceed.
Sorry, just gotta go outside fast. Hi everybody who's been watching. I'm stepping out because I don't know if we got any more people, and I don't know if I want to stay for all of that, but thank you for watching. Hey, we wanted to say thank you to Jennifer Ragos and Ruth Bolome for the initial letter to the UN, and then Dr. Desist's letter, the expert on what is that? Humanitarian law expert, former UN expert, for the letter that Jen Ragos was using. And you know, everybody who's watching should know the story, but we wanted to thank Ruth Bolome and all of Auntie Mihai, all the people that's working hard with Ruth, and all the people that's working with Jen, whoever that is, and everybody who testified today. We love you guys, and all you guys on all the other islands, you guys can do the same thing. If you guys want the template to do this at your guys' county council, can be done at any hearing pretty much. And it's a cease and desist, and you're just stating that you're a protected person, and the good news is everybody's protected persons, because in the Hawaiian Kingdom Code of Conduct, as it states, we already here, the kingdom already provided protections for all people who are living and residents in the Hawaiian Kingdom, which we are still at. So we are protected. So you can separate yourself from the war crimes of your government. You can. So we're good. We get more people than we thought, for real. Okay.
Mahalo to everybody.
Mahalo. You want to say some more? Wait, Auntie, where did Tammy went?
We lost her.
What? She ran away?
She's shopping.
Oh. Okay, you guys. Love you guys. I'm going to sign off now because I'm not sure if we get any more people. I don't like no more testimonies. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho. Aloha.
Aloha.